Hello and welcome to more adventures of Feather Lady. Do you like my feathers? Aren't they pretty? I think they're pretty. I think I'm pretty. And I think that singing's pretty. But I don't know. I don't know if I think that's pretty. That seems like an odd thing to decorate your building with. But hey, I'm not in charge of your decorations. I'm pretty sure. Because I think you would have told me that I was in charge of your decorations. And then you would know that I was in charge of your decorations because there'd probably be more cat things. And there'd probably be more skulls. And there'd probably be more decorations where I just basically just had them make statues of Mock Kali and I'd have them put everywhere. And then people would be like, this isn't really what I asked when I wanted you to decorate my manor. And I would be like, well, that's unfortunate for you because I did the best kind of decorating. And you see, you're going to learn to love it. You're going to learn to love it. You're going to be like, oh, wow, that's so lovable and so good and so neat. And then you're going to be like, wow, how did I ever live without the cat decoration style in my life? And I'll be like, I don't know. It was clearly a life of moral poverty. Whip. But ow. Hello, I'd prefer it if you didn't shoot me with things. Excuse me. Excuse me. Come on. Oh, great. Now you're gonna come over here and do something, huh? Yes, you're. Hey, stop that. I probably should just not try to swing there. That was silly of me. But you know what? It's fine because look, I got. Oh lord. Oh look, I got red stuff back. But recently I just was reading this book. It's about like late Victorian Holocausts. That's what it's like that, and like the making of the third world is that's like kind of its title. I can't remember its exact title. Uno momento. Okay, I found it. It's Late Victorian Holocausts by Mike Davies, and it's the El Nino famines and the making of the third world. So there you go. But I was listening to that because I am one who thinks that we should know about what goes on in the world and what goes on to, or what has happened to create the circumstances we find ourselves in and the circumstances people in other countries and places find themselves in. And I'm a cat of a lot of traveling. So, I've been to a lot of wacky areas. But the thing that was very interesting to me about this was that the main cause of the famine was basically that, excuse me, itchy. Basically, it was caused by the British Empire because the British Empire kept exporting the grain that could have otherwise easily taken care of the famines and, was doing a whole bunch of hoopla. You can read the book if you want to learn more about the actual details, or you can look it up. I'm sure there's plenty of detail. Hello, I would like your goo. Please give me your goo. But it was very interesting to me. And it was interesting to me like how much suffering was caused by just sheer greed and sheer people not being good. And it's very interesting to think about because you know ultimately this is all part of the same. Oh, this is ultimately all part of the same divine reality, the divine Leela, the divine play, if you will. And that's very interesting to me. Because I think that we are all um part of the divine mother. We are all like this whole universe is the divine mother, you know what I mean? So, we're kind of going around, running around in this type stuff, and we're always doing things. Sometimes we're doing good things, sometimes we're doing bad things, but it's all ultimately part of the play, even though the play is bigger than any one of us and bigger than humanity and bigger than life, bigger than stars, bigger than anything. It's just always going. And the thing that's very interesting to me about the like these great famines is the amount of suffering that humans can go through and still survive. In my little kitty cat life, I have seen a lot. I have experienced quite a bit of evil and privation and things not going my way and things. Ah. I, I seem to remember this just being a harder thing to deal with. Excuse me, I was dealing with the big ball, sir and or madam. Excuse me. Hey, how you done? Holy damage. Love that mock Howdy power. But, it's all part of the great divine play. And I think, honestly, looking at the suffering in the world is important. But yeah, seeing how much humans can survive and how much they can get past is very interesting to me, and it's very uplifting in a way. I mean, like, this was a dark event, and it shouldn't have happened. There were lots of chances to prevent it, but, it did happen. But there was a lot of privation, but there were also people, there were a lot of, like, British people and, like, missionaries and other people who were trying very desperately before these famines started and after these famines started to, like, get the British governments to help. Some people even went to jail because they decided, because there were a bunch of laws basically saying, hey, you're not supposed to give out charity to these people by the British government and others in various areas, basically saying, yeah, you're not allowed to help. But some people chose to go to jail or chose to, like, you know, risk going to jail and still help people instead of just letting the stuff keep going on. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because I think not only does it highlight the suffering, but it highlights how much we have in good times. Like, I am very lucky I get to have a nice banana. I had a nice banana earlier, and I had some melon earlier, and things like that. So I'm living in, times where thankfully I can use my eldritch tentacles to get bananas and fruits and things. And, there's lots of. This is a neat area. And there's lots of stores that I can still go to. And although you can kind of see that things are getting a little bit worse because of inflation and other thingies, and you can see that people are going to suffer, and that's unfortunate. But right now, we should still appreciate what we have, and we should also remember that uh, kindness and helping others and being there for one another is always important, but it will be especially important in times of need. And that we should always be willing to try and use our family structures and, our friend groups and things like that and ourselves to try and help people out. Because another thing that happened during these late Victorian Holocaust is that a lot of the family structures were broken apart. Basically, they were breaking these systems apart in order to try and incorporate them into liberal capitalism. But, you know, we should take note of that and know that there is a lot of people out there who want to break things apart. Sometimes they break things apart because they think they're doing good, and other times it's just for greed. But you got to remember that you have the ability to be um, a good part of someone else's lives, and in times of disaster, you have the ability, as much as you possibly can, to be a positive influence on things, even if things seem dire and grim. And I can tell you, I've seen some really grim and dire stuff in my time. I've seen some absolutely crazy amounts of suffering. And at one time, it really made me kind of question. Well, there was a while where it was like, I don't know if I really believe in God and all that stuff because of, like, suffering. But then, as I got older and as I had more experiences with God and as I had more experiences with how much suffering you can go through and yet still find the good in things, I found it very difficult to say that there wasn't something there. And it was always very interesting to me that, no, no matter how dark things get, no matter how much darkness is, really out there, there is still I eat jellyfish. I eat jellyfish sweet tarts. There is still, goodness. And there's still this light. It's like I gotta tell you, I've seen, addiction. I've seen, people suffering in dire straits. I've seen people claw their ways out of dire straits. I've seen Macaulay turn people's lives around. I've seen crazy stuff, man. You'd be amazed if you haven't really seen it, how much bad stuff and suffering there is for a lot of people in the world. And that's not, and I'm not trying to. Excuse me, Mr. Redman, I'm having a conversation. I'm gonna get knocked out. Yep. Whoop. Oh. Man. Ooh, excuse me, sir. I'm just gonna ignore this guy. It's easier to just go past him. But, like how much suffering and darkness there is. But, there's like always a light in it, and there's always a chance to bring more light. It's like there's always a chance to be the alchemist of happiness and see, like, it, excuse me, and to see like darkness and the things that are going wrong for people turn around, and there's always a chance to, give from your own abundance to someone else and to benefit them and to try and patch them up as much as you can. Or, sometimes in a lot of cases, all people really want is just someone who will listen to them, someone who will listen to their suffering and listen to their problems and just, be willing to aid them in their times of need. And excuse me, what is this? Oh, are you just gonna? Oh, thanks for healing. Ooh, a centipede. That doesn't look like it has enough legs to be a centipede. Ah, whatever, doesn't matter. But, there's always a chance to, ignite the fire. See, fire of kindness and burn away the inequities of the world as much as you possibly can. And, the other thing that's very interesting to me is, especially the older I've gotten and the more dedicated to my spiritual path that I've gotten, the more I've prayed and meditated and really, really looked into philosophy and all these other things, the more I've seen that, life can be like an ocean of bliss. God has this ability to give. Hey, I don't seem to remember you. Hmm. Hmm. Wait, one more time. Hmm. Indeed. But, God truly is like this ocean of bliss and can really give you like way more than you might expect. And it can be truly, truly wonderful. And it can also be. Oh, it's a gargoyle. I completely forgot about this boss fight. It can also be. It can also be very, surprising if you're not used to it. Oh, I tell you what, I'm not on my A game today. Nope. Excuse me, I would prefer it if you did not barf up evil things on me, please and thank you. Sometimes you just gotta tell the world, hey, I'm not really into this weird barfing you're doing right now. But, it's always important to remember that there is certainly positivity, and there's also certainly more strength within yourself than you might realize. Because that was the thing that kept blowing me away about like the people in these terrible circumstances. Oh, I thought I could roll away from that in time. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is what a lot of endurance gets you, the ability to roll for a long time. I'm gonna try and... Oh. I wonder if I can... I was hoping to maybe try and deal with... Oop. Maybe not. Oh, geez. It's... Hmm. You know, maybe what I need to do is not be focused on either of them, because it's really hard to see the second guy while I'm doing this. Okay, excuse me. I'm trying to kill your friend here, and then I'll deal with you. Oh, you... That was kind of silly, too, because I... Oh, there we go. Got that one. But remember, you're always a lot stronger than you might think. Oh, excuse me, sir. Oh, you're always a lot stronger than you think you are. Although I might be a lot deader than I think I am here shortly. We'll see how that goes. Sir. Oh. Sip. Oh. I guess that wasn't the best time to sip. Sip. Okay. Please stop trying to breathe your fart gas onto me. And you always got to remember that you always have the ability to try and be a bright spot. Now, there is a lot of stuff that can genuinely get you down, and I'm not saying that you're never allowed to feel down or nothing. Obviously, that would be ridiculous. Oop. Let me just in case. There we go. Cool. I completely forgot that there was a boss here. I was expecting to just talk for a little bit and, you know, not deal with the boss. But hey, there you go. I'm trying to remember. Do I go this way or something? It's a pretty waterfall. Oh, there's a grace over here. But you know, like you can always try to look for the good and the bad. You know, like I'm saying, like God is like this infinite ocean of bliss, and there's a lot of ways in which you wouldn't really. Oh yeah, that's right. You got to get into the casket thingy, and then it takes you to the tree area. Well, I say that like the whole game isn't the tree area, but you know, there's always this chance to like connect with that ocean of bliss, but there's also always the chance to remember that, you know, ultimately this all comes from God. And I'm not going to pretend that I understand the reason for suffering or anything like that. I've heard a lot of explanations over the years, some of them more satisfying than others, but very few truly encompass everything. And I mean, a lot of it is just in my experience that has shown me that, like, you know, suffering, even if you're suffering a lot, it can really grow your character and it can really benefit you in more ways than you might expect. But you always have the chance to embrace the good and look for the good even in dark situations, and you always have the chance to try and, you know, be the positive spot in a dark situation. You always have the chance to try and smile and to try and bring as much good as you can and to share and other things. And you know, I understand that in a lot of cases, like things are going to be bad and you're not really going to be able to do very much. But you know, doing your best to remain positive and doing your best to believe that you can improve things and to accept your own inner strength is very powerful. And I know it won't magically make all your problems better, but it can help out a lot. Ooh, spooky fart gas tree. And you know, like, part of the reason I worship God in the form of Ma Kali is, well, A, I've had my own little spiritual visions and trips and things, man. Dude. But also because, you know, like, I think it personifies, like, the chaos of reality. I mean, she personifies, like, the chaos of reality in a very visceral way that I feel is very accurate. I should probably do more combat that isn't just like run up, block, and smack, but I kind of want to do that again anyway. Bring it on! Evil tree! Oh, I'm not doing as much damage to that thing as I thought I would. Oh. That was bad timing. Dang it! I gotta roll more. But yeah, you know, remember that you always have the ability to be the positive influence, and that sometimes, oh dear lord, look how little health I have left there. And sometimes that will be, yeah, really hard. I understand. Oh, I was gonna say, I think that explode. Oh, I forgot that did that. What? Ah, it's a good thing I got so many of my flasks. Just gonna try and roll there. It did not roll. Oh, smack tree. Man, it's been a while since I played this game. I need to improve my combat some more. Oh, what? That was just poor timing on my part. And what? There we go. Gib. I have gained the staff of the avatar. It give me staff of avatar. But yeah, you know, and you know, there's also like just some techniques. Like sometimes you should just like kind of disconnect yourself from a situation a little bit, and you know that can be harder to do in some situations than others. But you know, if you like some of the best yogis, and the more you meditate, this gets easier. Is you can like kind of disconnect yourself from negative thoughts. Like you can see like a negative thought is gonna start like boiling up, and you can just kind of and just kind of let it go, or you know, just cut it off before it even becomes a thing. Or you can even take a negative thought and turn it into a positive thought. Like, oh man, that guy's really annoying. I wonder what's going on in his life today. I wonder if he needs some help. You know, there's all kinds of like weird little. Oh, hello, big ant. I was going to. Hello, could you stop that, please? Oh, you have more health than I realized. I'm just not gonna bother. Fraggle, fraggle. Ants are aggressive. That's something we've learned today. Oh well, you know, they're probably doing their ant things. And then this weird lady, you know, runs up on them with a sword and starts smacking them. What reaction would you have if you were an ant trying to do ant things? You're like, oh man, I love being an ant. I love being pincer and going. Oh no, there's this lady. She's trying to stab me. It is my fault for being the aggressive one. I'm sorry, ant. Ant, forgive me. A good thing I can touch Grace, and then Ant forgive, because Ant will go back to do what it was doing. The Ant forgive. But yeah, there's always a chance to try and do the right thing and do the positive thing, even in a situation that's full of negativity. Just remember that. And just remember that you have much more inner strength than you'd think. People have gone through a ton of suffering in their lives and come out on the other side. And that doesn't mean that you should just take it lying down and that you should never do anything to try and improve it. The important part is to be positive so that you can improve and get better off and try to take the negativity and find the source of the negativity and then change it. You know what I mean? You shouldn't just be like, oh man, I'm just gonna be positive no matter what. Although you should be positive no matter what, but just being positive and not attempting to change either yourself in terms of your perceptions or anything else, that doesn't necessarily help you very much. So you gotta be careful. Wait, can I get on my horse? Horsepower. Oh, wait, I think I was supposed to go down that way. Do 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 do. I always get lost in these big tree parts. Remember that you can always call upon an inner source of strength. And you might need to find your own way to do it, though. That's kind of the interesting thing. God is always there and always present. But some people have a hard time believing in God for, their own reasons, for stuff that's happened in their lives, or, maybe just it doesn't make much sense to them. Wait, what? Excuse me, Mr. Ant. Wait, so need to get onto that thing. Okay, so maybe just go like right here. Can I go on to right here and then jump up there? Nope. I'm sorry, man. It's been a little while since I've been down here, so I kind of forget how to get things. Uh, I'm pretty sure you gotta go on the roots, right? 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 Right. And, God. I have found that God answers prayers more than you'd think. It's just not the thing of like you pray for a Mercedes and God gives you Mercedes. It's not that. And the Divine Mother answers. Oh wait. Oh, I want to go onto that tree. Okay. I think. Maybe. We're exploring. I'm not really too worried about those runes. I can just turn on cheats and get runes back if I really wanna. I don't really think I need runes for too much, and honestly, once you're in the later parts of the games, runes come so easily, it's not really that big a deal. Okay, yes, this was the right way. I figured it out with my big cat ears. Ooh, bunch of flying ants. I love ants. Ants are really neat. There's like all kinds of channels on YouTube where you can like just watch people like hanging out with ants or like with ant colonies and stuff. It's really neat. But yeah, no, you can draw upon an inner well of strength, and you know, I I don't really try to convince people that God exists. That's like a whole other separate thing. I mean, I might talk to somebody about it. I might tell them like some of my own reasons for believing in God, some of the experiences I've had, and how they've shaped me. But like, it's pretty difficult to sit there and just like, especially if someone really has like a different way of thinking, to sit there and like argue with them into believing God exists. I mean, it is now obvious to me that God exists and that we can draw upon that strength, and that um there's a lot going on there, obviously. And that's also part of the reason that why I did, like, despite all the suffering, I still believe in God, is because, like, I have this very firm faith that's established through, like, my own experiences, through my own encounters with God and the divine, and all the crazy stuff that entails, you know. But to go up to someone who hasn't had that and be like, "Nah, dude, God totally exists," and like, I'm not gonna like sit there and argue with them forever. If they're interested and they want to talk about it, we can. In fact, I might talk some more about like belief in God and stuff like that at a later date. But like, but you can also approach it from a completely. I don't know what I did there. I don't know why I didn't like actually aim the jump at all. Yeah, like that. I'm silly. But you can still believe, like humans have a right to be treated well, and you should treat people well, and you can still, even if you don't believe in God, you can still be a positive force. Don't think that you have to believe in the supernatural to be a good person. That's silly. That's silly Billy stuff. Don't be a silly Billy. Unless you're being a silly Billy to be nice to somebody. Being clown. Clown nose. Hi. But there's always the possibility to draw upon inner strength, and there's always the possibility to be a light in somebody's life. Sometimes it's as simple as listening, like I said. Other times it's more complex. Sometimes people need a lot of help. Other people, they only need a little bit of help, and they can kind of figure a lot out by themselves. And then it's a whole thing, man. But yeah, no, I was listening to these books and I was thinking about the suffering involved, and I was thinking about all this stuff, and it's like, it's amazing to me how much people go through, and it's also amazing to me how much people can turn around, because this was in places like India and China and uh, South America and the Middle East, all over the place basically, and you can see that a lot of these places have started to recover, or like, but you can also still see some of the marks on these places even after like a century and a half. Well, not quite a century and a half. A century and a couple of decades. So it's you know it's important to note, like, a lot of this stuff is still like fairly modern, and is still like we're still viewing the effects of a lot of it. Hello, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just going to do this, and then I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna grab this chest, and I'm gonna get this stuff. And now my intention is to leave. Bye bye. Thank you for giving me tree stuff. Hey, I want to have a fight for the tree stuff. I don't really feel like fighting for the tree stuff, but thank you anyway. Hmm. This area is neat looking. Kind of scary looking, but also neat looking. Don't forget to try and spread kindness as much as you possibly can, and spread goodwill wherever you can. Don't forget that even in the darkest of darkness, there's always light. All that good stuff. I don't know. That's just what I felt like saying today. I hope you all have a great one. Wait, wait, wait. Let's do a gesture. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Bye-bye.